Welcome to Listen and Learn English, where you can improve your English at your own pace. Our narrators are all native English speakers, and their words are displayed so that you can read along and practice your English vocabulary. It's a great way to learn, so sit back, relax, and let's get into the video. The Wonderful Wizard of Oz by L. Frank Baum. Chapter 11. The Wonderful City of Oz. Even with the green spectacles protecting their eyes, Dorothy and her friends were dazzled by the brilliance of the Emerald City. Everywhere they looked, green shimmered and glowed as though the whole place were made of jewels. The streets were lined with elegant houses of polished green marble, their walls sparkling with emeralds that caught the sunlight. Even the pavement beneath their feet was made of the same marble, with narrow seams filled with rows of emeralds that flashed in the light. The window panes gleamed with green glass, and even the sunlight filtering through the air seemed tinted with green, giving the entire city a magical glow. The streets were busy with people, men, women, and children, all dressed in shades of green. Their very skin faintly tinted the same color. They paused to stare curiously at Dorothy and her strange companions. Some whispered among themselves, while others simply stared in amazement. The children hid behind their mothers when they saw the great line padding along beside the little girl, though no one dared to speak to her. Dorothy passed many green-painted shops with glittering windows. In them everything was green candies and popcorn, green hats, shoes, and dresses. One man sold green lemonade, and Dorothy noticed that the coins the children handed him were green too. There were no horses or wagons anywhere in the city. Instead, men pushed small green carts through the streets, carrying their goods. Yet, despite the strange uniformity, there was an air of peace and happiness. Everyone looked content and prosperous, as though life in the Emerald City was as comfortable as it was beautiful. The guardian of the gates led the travelers through the streets until they reached a grand building in the very center of the city, the Palace of Oz. It was vast and glittering, its domes and spires glimmering with thousands of emeralds. Standing before the great doorway was a soldier dressed entirely in green, his long beard the same color as his uniform. "These are strangers," said the guardian of the gates. "They seek an audience with the great Oz." "Step inside," replied the soldier solemnly. "I will take your message to him." They entered the palace gates and were shown into a large, beautifully furnished hall. Everything was green. The thick carpet, the chairs and tables adorned with emeralds, even the curtains that hung at the tall windows. The soldier politely asked them to wipe their feet on a green mat before entering, and then said, "Please make yourselves comfortable while I go to the throne room to inform Oz of your arrival." They waited a long time. The palace was silent, except for the faint trickling of a fountain somewhere nearby. When the soldier returned, Dorothy quickly asked, "Did you see Oz?" "Oh no," said the soldier. "I have never seen him, but I spoke to him as he sat behind his screen and gave him your message. He says he will receive you, but each of you must enter alone, one person each day. You'll stay here in the palace until all have spoken with him." "Thank you," said Dorothy. "That's very kind of Oz." The soldier blew on a small green whistle. Almost immediately a young girl entered the room, wearing a lovely gown of green silk. Her hair and eyes were green as well, and she bowed gracefully to Dorothy. "Please follow me," she said softly. "I will show you your room." Dorothy said goodbye to her friends, keeping Toto in her arms, and followed the girl through a maze of corridors and staircases until they reached a bright, cheerful room at the front of the palace. It was the prettiest room Dorothy had ever seen. The bed was soft and covered with green silk sheets and a velvet blanket. In the center of the room stood a small fountain that sprayed green scented perfume into the air before it fell back into a marble basin. Beautiful green flowers filled the window boxes, and a shelf held a row of little green books filled with funny drawings that made Dorothy laugh when she later opened them. A wardrobe stood nearby, filled with dresses made of silk, satin and velvet, all in green, and every one fit her perfectly. "Make yourself comfortable," said the green girl kindly. "If you need anything, just ring the bell. Oz will send for you in the morning." Dorothy thanked her, and the girl left to lead the others to their rooms. The Scarecrow, having no need of rest, stood quietly in the middle of his room, watching a spider spin its web in the corner. The Tin Woodman, though unable to sleep, lay down from habit and spent the night flexing his joints to keep them from stiffening. The Lion, used to resting on beds of leaves, found the chamber strange, but quickly curled up on the velvet bed, purred softly, and fell asleep. The next morning, the Green Maiden returned and helped Dorothy dress in a beautiful gown of green satin. She tied a matching ribbon around Toto's neck, and together they followed the girl to the throne room. They first entered a grand hall filled with richly dressed courtiers who whispered among themselves when they saw Dorothy. "Is she really going to see Oz the Terrible?" one murmured. "Yes," said Dorothy bravely, "if he will see me." "Oh, he will," said the soldier who had spoken with Oz. "Though he dislikes being disturbed, he was angry at first and told me to send you away. But when I mentioned your silver shoes, he grew curious. And when I described the mark on your forehead, he decided to let you in." Just then a bell rang. "That's the signal," said the green girl. "You must go alone." She opened a small door, and Dorothy stepped inside. The throne room was breathtaking. The high domed ceiling and walls glittered with emeralds, and a bright green light filled the chamber. In the center stood a great marble throne encrusted with jewels, but sitting upon it was not a man. It was a giant head, enormous, hairless, and floating without a body. The eyes turned towards Dorothy and fixed her with a piercing stare. Then the mouth opened and a deep voice said, "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Who are you, and why do you seek me?" Dorothy's voice trembled, but she answered, "I'm Dorothy, the small and meek. I have come to ask for your help." "Where did you get the silver shoes?" asked the head. "From the Wicked Witch of the East, when my house fell on her," she replied. "And the mark on your forehead?" "The Good Witch of the North kissed me there when she sent me to find you." The great eyes studied her for a long moment. Then Oz said, "What do you want from me?" "Please send me back to Kansas," said Dorothy earnestly. "My Aunt Em and Uncle Henry must be terribly worried about me." The eyes blinked slowly, then rolled around the room before settling on her again. "Why should I help you?" Oz asked. "Because you are strong and I am weak," said Dorothy simply. "Because you are a great wizard and I am only a girl." Oz's voice rumbled. "You were strong enough to kill the Witch of the East." "That was an accident," Dorothy said sadly. "I didn't mean to." "Well," said Oz, "I will make a bargain with you. If you want me to use my magic to send you home, you must do something for me first. Kill the Wicked Witch of the West." Dorothy gasped. "But I can't. I never meant to kill anyone." "Nevertheless," said Oz earnestly, "that is my command. The Witch of the West is evil beyond measure. When she is dead, I will send you home. Until then, you shall not see your aunt and uncle again." Tears filled Dorothy's eyes. "If you are so powerful," she cried, "why don't you destroy her yourself?" "I do not know," Oz said quietly, "but that is my answer. Go now, and do not return until the witch is dead." Dorothy left the throne room in sorrow. Her friends gathered around her, but there's nothing they could do. "There's no hope," she said, weeping. "Oz won't help me until I kill the witch, and I could never do that." The next morning, the green soldier came to the Scarecrow. "Oz has sent for you," he said. The Scarecrow followed him to the throne room. There, instead of a great head, he saw a beautiful lady dressed in green silk with shining wings on her shoulders. "I am Oz, the great and terrible," she said. "Why do you seek me?" "I am only a Scarecrow," he replied humbly. I have no brains, and I ask that you give me some." "Why should I do that?" she asked. "Because you are wise and powerful," said the Scarecrow. "If you help Dorothy kill the Wicked Witch of the West," said Oz, "I will grant your wish. Bring me proof that she is dead, and I will fill your head with the finest brains in the land of Oz." The Scarecrow bowed and returned sadly to his friends. "Oz was a lady this time," he said, "but she told me the same thing." The next day it was the Tin Woodman's turn. When he entered the throne room, Oz appeared as a terrible beast with 5 eyes, 5 arms, and 5 legs. Its deep voice roared, "Why do you come before me?" "I'm made of tin," said the Woodman, "and I have no heart. I beg you to give me one." "If you want a heart," the beast growled, "you must earn it. Help Dorothy kill the Wicked Witch of the West. Only then will I grant your wish." The Tin Woodman returned, disappointed but determined. Oz was a monster today, he told his friends, but he said the same thing. Finally, the Lion was summoned. He entered to find not a person or a beast, but a great ball of fire blazing before the throne. It spoke softly. "I am Oz, the great and terrible. Why do you seek me?" "I am a cowardly lion," he said, trembling. "I ask for courage so I may truly be the king of beasts." "Bring me proof that the Wicked Witch is dead," said the fire. "Then you shall have courage." When the Lion returned, the friends gathered in despair. "We must go to the land of the Winkies," said the Lion, "and face the Wicked Witch of the West. It is the only way." Dorothy sighed, wiping her eyes. "I suppose we must try," she said quietly, "even though I do not want to hurt anyone." That night they packed their things. The Tin Woodman polished his axe. The Scarecrow was stuffed with fresh straw, and Dorothy filled her basket with food. In the morning they rose at the crowing of a green rooster, ready to begin their journey to face whatever dangers awaited them. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please support us by giving it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button. We release new videos just like this one each week, so join us and listen to learn English.